you're behind. Tell the stranger sleeping next to you to get the hell out, you've got things to do. Wednesday morning, the week's half done. Try to sober up, it's time to run. There's only 3 days left working from 9 to 5. Then it's party time. Party time. Just a little more work to do. Let's get on up and get the damn thing through. Then we'll get back to numbing our minds.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. It is Hump Day. And we've got your shot at $20 of my morning show money a bit later on with your Killing Me Shaws. We'll, of course, talk to Scott Robert Shaw for 3 ways and bad news, happy music. We got the friggin' sports, lots of Olympic stuff from yesterday. Busy.
And a little bit of fog, but for all intents and purposes, should be a nice Wednesday.
Yeah, warming up to about 80 degrees today with a mix of sun and clouds in our area. Looks like 77 tomorrow and then partly cloudy on Friday with a high of just 72. So it's really nice this week compared to what it was last week. We'll take it. Metallica in a bit. If you need something, find us online at rockmornings.com.
More of your Rock Mornings coming up in just a bit.
Kind of a foggy start to our morning here in the La Crosse area. So keep those headlights on as you're headed to work this morning. Should clear up a bit later on with some clouds and a high of 80 later on today. Shaw, in the newsroom, what's the latest?
President Joe Biden is praising Vice President Kamala Harris's choice of Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate. Biden said the Democratic presidential ticket will defend democracy and ensure that the U.S. continues to play a leading role on the world stage. Harris and Walz appeared together in Philadelphia at a rally last night for the first time. The Midwestern governor, military veteran, and union supporters helped enact an ambitious Democratic agenda for his state, including sweeping protections for abortion rights. He was elected chair of the Democratic Governors Association in December. So we now know who's going to campaign with Kamala Harris in Eau Claire today as her newly chosen running mate. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz got the nod. According to State Representative Gene Pulowski of Winona, Walz gradually became a leading choice for vice president after Joe Biden ended his presidential campaign. Pulowski notes that he and Walz worked for many years as teachers before winning political office.
Well, teachers always are trying to educate, and I think the governor acts just as a teacher, too. He wants to educate people on the proper way government should function, because politics should be about the improvement of people's lives.
Walz and Harris have a campaign event together in Eau Claire today, while Republican Vice Presidential nominee J.D. Vance also has an Eau Claire stop scheduled today. The jury in the Nia Tao murder trial in La Crosse has heard opening arguments and 1 day of witness testimony. Tao is being tried for the second time in as many years for the shooting deaths of 3 men at a quarry near West Salem. His first trial last year ended with a hung jury. Witnesses who took the stand yesterday, including law enforcement officers who investigated the murder scene, a pathologist who described the wounds of the victims, and a crime scene specialist who testified about footprints found at the site of the shooting. The prosecution is likely to call witnesses for a couple more days before Tao's defense attorney begins his case. Tropical storm Debbie is taking a breather over the western Atlantic Ocean, but will douse the coastal Carolinas again before it slowly marches north. Debbie is now centered just southeast of Savannah, Georgia. The system has already stirred up tornadoes and submerged streets in waist-high floodwaters. The latest forecast says Debbie could re-strengthen over the Atlantic Ocean and then move inland again near Charleston, South Carolina by tomorrow. Debbie made landfall on Florida's Gulf Coast early Monday as a hurricane. At least 6 people have died.
I have a friend. Oh, I have a couple of friends actually that live in Savannah. And, Monday I was like watching the weather channel and I'm like, you guys all right? Or, what's... And he said, there's been some tornado warnings and we've had some rain and, it's been kind of like a typical storm type thing. He said it hadn't really come in yet. He said that his wife was, my buddy Chance said his wife was supposed to fly out on Tuesday to come back here to La Crosse and was worried about the flight. But apparently she got on the plane and made it back.
Fine.
And so I know that obviously travel going to be very impacted down there in the south. And, When is that supposed to wrap up? By Friday?
The hurricane itself?
Yeah, kind of like peter out and move on.
Well, it's supposed to re-strengthen later today and overnight, and then move inland into South Carolina tomorrow. So it'll depend on how much it strengthens, I guess, as it churns in the Atlantic.
Gotcha. 3-way with Shaw. We'll play your Killing Me Shaws later on this morning for your chance to win. some of my cash, $20 of it, Shaw.
Okay.
Watched any movies recently or just watching nothing but the Olympics?
Yeah, just pretty much watching the Olympics. You know, if there's a break in some of the Olympic competition or something I'm not interested in, I'll flip over and see what's on and caught a few minutes of a few things here and there, but nothing in its entirety.
Anything good?
Let's see. We watched part of, what was the second Star Wars movie? The Empire Strikes Back, I think.
Yeah.
That was on the other night. And then caught a good chunk of Stripes a couple days ago as well.
All right.
But that's about it.
We watched The Hollers this weekend.
Ooh.
Right? From 2016, John Krasinski, Charlie Day. A guy goes home because his mother is diagnosed with a brain tumor, essentially, and then, goes back home. So his brother's relationship, his father, fun stuff, too, but yeah.
Sounds funny. Sounds like a real comedy. Real knee-jerker there.
It is. I don't know about a knee-jerker, but it's a nice balance of sad and funny.
We watched, last night we didn't watch a movie, but we watched Press Your Luck, ABC
Yes.
Press Your Luck. They did I think it was a week ago, they did a Deadpool and Wolverine special where the whammies were dressed up as Deadpool and Wolverine when they would come and take your money. One guy went on a very impressive run in that episode. I thought he was going to win the $1 million, but he came up a little bit short there at the end. You could tell his wife was like, it was a mirror image of my wife and his wife on television because, he's like, they're like, at the end of the round, they're always like, do you want to go home with all this money or do you want to press your luck? He's like, I got to press my luck.
And she's like, oh, no.
And she's over there, you got all this money. She's like, we got to get a house. And she's like, okay, and then I'm like looking at my wife and she's like, yeah, that's what it's like. And I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, press your luck. I'm like, yeah, gamble.
One more spooky spin.
Hell yeah. No, you don't understand. If I hit the next one, it'd be great. I'll get it all of it back. That's how gambling works. Yeah.
I think McDonald's, by the way, has Deadpool and Wolverine toys in their Happy Meals right now.
Oh, they're everywhere. Popcorn buckets, they're all over the place.
And they've got like Deadpool on a little swing, and you can put him on like your rear view mirror.
Oh yeah,
he's a little tiny action figure. Yeah.
All right, three-way with Shaw once again. We'll talk to him in just a few minutes. Plus, we'll get to sports after Metallica and 3 Days Grace. It's Screaming Suicide.
Rock Mornings. On air, online, on the app.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene from their album Porno Graffiti, which came out on this day 34 years ago. That is extreme. Gary Sharon, Nuno Betancourt, Pat Badger, and Paul Geary. Wholehearted from Extreme. Olympics continuing. USA dominating. Less than a week left. We are now fully in control of the medal count and the gold medal count. We surpassed China yesterday. Women's wrestler Amit Alor dominating in her gold medal match. We snagged 2 more golds in track and field. One of them was underdog Cole Hawker. Won the men's 1,500-meter race. Did you see this finish?
I don't think so. What?
Boy, oh boy, this guy, he was kind of in second, then he dropped back into third and looked like he was fading fast, but then all of a sudden, after the last turn, he turned on the jets and he said, see ya. Yeah, pretty good day for Cole Hawker in the 1,500-meter race. And then Gabby Thomas also got a gold, winning the women's 200-meter. She was blowing doors. Unlike Cole, she had it from the
very beginning,
from the gun, and it was over real fast.
A gold is on the line for Gabby Thomas. Gabby Thomas is in control already. Gabby Thomas comes off the turn with force, with power, and Gabby Thomas is running away from the field. It's gold for USA. Gabby Thomas is an Olympic champion.
Very emotional after the race there, crying, the hands, good stuff. You love to see it.
Yeah.
USA also grabbing a silver in the women's hammer throw, a bronze in men's boxing, and 2 more bronze medals in track and field. We entered yesterday tied with China at 21 golds, but they only tacked on 1 more So right now, Team USA entering the day today with 24 golds. China's got 22, Australia 14, France 13, and Great Britain 12. We've also moved even further ahead in the overall medal count with 86. China trailing way behind with 59 in second place. So USA dominant. Well, we do have the most athletes as well.
I think golf today, I think, is on the...
More golf?
More golf.
All right. There's going to be all sorts of different stuff today as they continue, but we're getting down there. I mean, this weekend, that's it. Elsewhere, Willie Adames hit a pair of 2-run ding-dongs, and the Brewers routed the Braves last night, 10-0, handing the Braves their third straight loss. Same two teams tonight at 6:20 from Atlanta, and the streak has come to an end, unfortunately, for the Chicago White Sox.
Oh, they won?
They did. Andrew Benintendi hit a 2-run homer, and the White Sox snapped their American League record-tying losing streak at 21 games last night, beating the A's 5-1. Chicago on Monday, of course, matching the longest losing streak since the 1988 Baltimore Orioles lost 21 in a row by losing to the Athletics 5-1, but they have since won a game last night, and now they're back, I don't know, to reality, I guess. I don't know. They're still going to have a terrible season.
Oh, yeah, it's not good.
NFL preseason continues tomorrow night. Panthers at Patriots, 6 p.m. That game on NFL Network. Vikings will host the Raiders on Saturday at 3 o'clock. That'll be on the NFL Network. And the Packers are at Cleveland Saturday at 3:25.
It's a busy sports weekend. Here we go.
Yeah, going to be crazy, man. Going to be nuts.
Mm-hmm. Brewers and Packers and Vikings and NASCAR.
Olympics. Yeah. Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Sports this morning. We've got more from Scott Robert Shaw. More on the Olympics as well. We'll let you know what's going to be on television tonight, and we'll, of course, give you a chance to win my morning show money. $20 worth. We'll do that after 8 o'clock with your Killing Me Shaws.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw. Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Julie. Huh? Julie. Huh? Guess what day it is? Julie. Huh? Julie. Huh? Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Anybody? Anybody? Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Anybody? Anybody? Mike. Huh? What day is it, Mike? Huh? Woo-hoo! Mike. Huh? What day is it, Mike? Huh? Oh, come on. I know you can hear me. Leslie, guess what today is? Leslie, guess what today is? Leslie, guess what today is? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's Hump Day.
Hump Day!
Yay! Hump Day, man. It's finally here. Over the hump, headed towards the weekend. It's going to be nice and mild. No more 90-degree weather.
Should be very nice.
All
today
about it.
once the
All
fog
about it.
runs off.
Olympic highlights continue tonight with Kevin Hart and Keenan Thompson on Peacock. The primetime Olympic coverage on NBC tonight includes the men's 110-meter hurdles, the women's pole vault, and the semifinals for the men's 400-meter hurdles and springboard diving. Of course, the men's basketball team got a big win over Brazil yesterday. Statement win, Shaw.
They were dominant.
Yeah, very dominant. Kevin Durant, now the all-time leading scorer, men's and women's, in Olympic basketball history for the USA. Passing, Lisa Leslie yesterday, I believe.
Okay.
And they move on to face Serbia and the Joker again, right? Nikola Jokic?
Mm-hmm.
Nikola Jokic? What is that, tomorrow?
I don't know. I haven't
it's
seen
tomorrow.
the schedule for that.
Also on TV tonight on ABC, the reboot of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And this sounds like absolute hot garbage.
Yeah. What?
Hulu has a new series called Dance Moms, A New Era. They're rebooting Dance Moms.
All right.
Starts a new generation of dancers featuring a new coach. Her name is Glow Hampton. Jesus Christ, where do they find these people? The Studio Blue Dance Center in Virginia. Glow Hampton is your new dance mom coach, Shaw.
Okay.
Be tuning in for that one. Can't wait. Speaking of the Olympics,
Yes.
some of the stuff that is made into the news cycle. Michaela Skinner now asking for people to chill with the hatred. We remember her from last week. She had made some comments about the women's gymnastic team, not Simone Biles, but the rest of the gymnastics team being a bit lazy. And then when Simone got that gold,
they won. They all went, look at me now.
yeah, look at us not being lazy. And apparently she's now, her and her family are now getting death threats over her comments about the work ethic of the current team. She posted a big, long, sappy video and also is hoping that Simone Biles will tell her fans to back off. I'm not condoning the violence and the death threats.
Yes,
but if you're a
not.
famous person and you're on the internet and you're going to say divisive things, you have to expect those things to happen. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying I agree with it. It is just sort of part of the deal with the devil that you make, right, Shaw?
Yep.
I mean, if you're going to be on social media at all and you're going to have opinion about anything, somebody out there, some redneck, is going to fire off, "I wish you were dead." They're going to say it, whether you like it. It's just, I'm sorry. It is. It's just, I don't know if it's Simone Biles' fault or her job to, like, tell people to back off.
And
Simone Biles got her own problems with people on social media.
Lots of it. And just, it's words. She said that they were late. I mean, she said they were lazy. They proved her wrong.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, in your face. You don't need to go, okay, now you need to die for that statement. They gave it.
Did you see the synchronized swimmers?
Oh,
did not.
yes.
Doing the Michael Jackson?
No.
They did the U.S. synchronized swimmers did a Michael Jackson routine. It's pretty cool, actually. And obviously, dude, all these, it's fantastic what they can do in the water, underwater, upside down, all around.
I don't understand how they do that.
They moonwalk, Shaw. They moonwalked upside down with their feet sticking out. So they were from like about the calf to the feet, so about
That's all you can see?
6 to 8 inches, and then they synchronized moonwalked to Michael Jackson.
How do they stay
Lots and lots of training, is my guess.
buoyant? Like, Shaw, you can't even put your face in the water.
I'm amazed at what they can do. I don't know how they do it either.
Shaw can't even put his face
Well, he
in the
can't, right?
He can, he just doesn't swim. He can go up to his waist, right?
Oh, yeah, of course, but...
You sure?
But they're upside down in the water.
No, I don't understand
Their
it.
hands aren't. I mean,
You see, there's no air under there. That's what part I don't get.
Well, they found some air under there, Shaw, and they stayed upside down and did the moonwalk. It was pretty cool. So,
pretty impressive track and field performances yesterday too. A gold in the 1500.
Did you see
Cole
that?
Hawker,
man, out of nowhere.
Well, and like I'm not saying anything bad about the guy, but he looks like the kind of guy who drinks IPAs.
He's got the little man bun.
And you're looking at, and he does, like some of these dudes, they're ripped.
He runs a 1500.
I understand that. I'm just saying that, but some of these guys, like, they're physically, they just look dominating, right? And he kind of he looks fine. I'm not saying anything, but he doesn't have that, like, overbearing body, where you're like, damn, look at that guy, right? A physical specimen type guy, right? He's just kind of out there doing his thing. And he was up there in second place for a second. And then he fell back, and you're like, oh, here it comes, right? Around that last corner, and everybody's going to, all these, favorites. And then all of a sudden, he just turns on the gas, and there he goes.
Nobody could catch him.
It was great. Hell of a performance from Cole Hawker.
Yes.
What else did you witness yesterday that impressed you, Shaw?
Gabby Douglas, I believe, won gold.
Gabby Thomas.
Thomas, thank you. In the 200.
Yep.
That was not even a close race.
That one was the opposite, the antithesis of Cole Hawker.
Yes.
She was and she was almost like that Katie Ledecky photo.
Where she's the only one in the frame.
Right,
Yes.
From earlier this week. That was kind of what happened with Gabby. She was so far ahead. And she almost pulled it. You could kind of see her almost pull up at the end, right? Like there was maybe, 15, 20 yards left, and it seemed like she pulled up a tiny, tiny bit because she knew she had it in hand. But yeah, very emotional win for her yesterday.
Uh-huh.
No shortage of stuff to watch, Shaw.
No, it's been exciting. I've talked to a number of people who share the same opinion that it's been a lot of fun, and we've watched more Olympic coverage this year than I can ever remember.
What else is happening in the world today?
Well, a second day of witness testimony will happen today in La Crosse in the Nia Tao murder trial. Tao is being tried for the second time as a suspect accused of shooting and killing 3 men at an area quarry in 2021. In her opening statement yesterday, Assistant DA Emily Rood commented that the 3 shooting victims were all young men in their 20s. Rood refers to them collectively as the boys.
But they were essentially just getting started. They were just getting started with their lives when they were taken from them. And the defendant, Nia Tao, is the one who did the taking.
Defense attorney Aaron Nelson argues that Tao has been wrongly blamed for the shooting. Nelson points to Cam Radensack as the person behind the murders. Radensack pleaded guilty last year to a murder charge and is now serving a life sentence in prison. Democrats have looked to Minnesota once again to fill a spot on the presidential ticket. Governor Tim Walz has been chosen by Kamala Harris as a vice presidential candidate for the November election. Walz follows in the footsteps of fellow Minnesotans Hubert Humphrey and Walter Mondale, who both served as vice president and then later were nominated for president. La Crosse County Democratic Party Chairman William Garcia says Walz has been his favorite potential candidate for VP.
The reason I like Tim Walz as the VP choice is because we can point to Minnesota and say, give that incredible laundry list of what the Democrats accomplished in the last 2 years and say we can do this nationally.
Both Harris and Walz are scheduled to visit Eau Claire for a campaign stop later today. Minnesota's governor is little known around the rest of the U.S., but now that Tim Walz has been chosen as the VP candidate for Kamala Harris, he'll be getting lots of attention in the next few weeks. Walz served more than a decade as a congressman for southeastern Minnesota before becoming governor. Winona legislator Gene Pawlowski says the choice of Walz comes as sort of a surprise.
But as we got closer to narrowing it down from 10 to 5 to 3, it began to be clear that they were looking for somebody who had major accomplishments at the state level that could run then on the national level. And, of course, with his congressional experience, that fit, too.
Pawlowski says Walz invested in roads and bridges around Minnesota, especially helping Minneapolis recover from that 2007 bridge collapse. Tropical storm Debbie continues to do damage over the western Atlantic Ocean. Debbie expected to turn north late today toward the South Carolina coastline for a second landfall. The storm carries the threat not only of more rain, but also of tornadoes in coastal sections of the Carolinas spreading up into Virginia.
Man, I'm watching a video from Dirty Dan Dyker's backyard. You know, he lives in Florida now. He's down in Rotunda West, and he's got like one of those, a lot of places in Florida have the pool because it's so hot, and it's got the screened-in area, to keep the vermin and the gators out, and the rain and the wind is going around. All of his pool floats are just like whipping around inside of that thing.
Yeah, the storm has already dropped more than a foot of rain in some places and could dump staggering rain totals of up to 25 inches in some places by the time it ends.
So the police in Eau Claire are busy today working with
think?
Secret Service. So it sounds like the Vance will speak at about 1 o'clock. Is that right? It sounds like he's supposed to be at
correct. At a manufacturing plant, I believe.
Wallard International. Wallard. And then, of course, the Harris campaign there. So that is a very busy situation today with both parties.
You might have trouble getting around town.
Yes.
Is what Gene
Claire might be a little bit difficult.
What Gene is trying to say. You might have a little difficulty.
On point. Like they are working to make sure that everything's going smooth.
And
that's a lot.
These are real quick in and outs. You know what I mean? They're there for the thing, and then they're out.
But you still got to ramp up security and all the things.
Well, obviously, in light of what happened to Donald Trump, you can imagine how tight the security will be.
Center of political activity in the country right now is Eau Claire today.
That's true.
Three-way with Shaw in the newsroom. We'll talk to him again in just a bit. We'll also play your Killing Me Shaws just after 8 a.m. Smashing Pumpkins now. It's 1979.
Rock Mornings. Only on 95.7 The Rock.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. That is the Smashing Pumpkins, 1979. Going to get back to Scott Robert Shaw in the newsroom for more three-ways and, of course, Bad News, Happy Music. Killing Me Shaw is just after 8 a.m. Your chance to win $20 of my morning show money. Also, the friggin' sports, daily check-ins. If you want to find us online, rockmornings.com is the website.
Please do.
Got all our contact info right there. You can also listen to the show live on the website. And check out our daily podcast right there at rockmornings.com. Handy dandy. Today is Purple Heart Day, by the way. Honoring their sacrifice. It's like one of the oldest and continuous medals that you can get in the military service. The Purple Heart. Music from Finger 11 in a couple of minutes. And again, if you want to hear something, find us online, rockmornings.com, to get in touch with us.
Rock Mornings, Monday to Friday, 6 to 9.
Finger 11, Paralyzer, Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Not the first time, won't be the last. Animal with its head stuck in a jar.
Uh-oh.
This time it's a cat.
Is it like a small?
In Texas.
Because sometimes it's the big cheese ball jar with a bear or whatever.
The one, wasn't there one in the lake, right? Was it a deer or a bear? Like swimming around in the water? Had the jar on its head, right? The old cheese ball jar?
Not like that, smaller?
No, this was a cat, and it was running around a neighborhood, jar stuck on its head. Palmhurst Police Department said that officers responded to the report of a cat in distress, arrived to find the feline had a jar stuck over its head and appeared to be unable to see. They say, we're unsure how long this poor feline had been suffering in this heat and unable to see, but action needed to be taken immediately. They dubbed the cat Jar Jar, by the way. After they got the cat under control, took it to the vet for evaluation. Seems like everything's going to be okay. Got the jar right off its head. No problem. Thankfully, it was all caught on body cam, yeah.
You want to grab them or you want me to grab them?
Whoever grabs.
You want the gloves in? Is it glass or plastic?
You okay? Get his face up. Yeah, you're good.
Managed to get the jar off.
Didn't get scratched in the
I'm
melee.
sure there might have been some claws that came out, but they got things under control there in Texas and got Jar Jar to the vet, and everything seems to be okay.
Good.
You guys went to Disney, what, 5-6 years ago?
Long time, yeah.
Wow.
Whatever. It was a while ago.
Yeah. Kids were all still living at home.
Yeah.
I went when I was 10. We drove all the way from New Hampshire to Florida, towing the camper with our friends, the Huzzies, that we went camping with, every summer. And we stayed at Fort Wilderness outside of the Magic Kingdom. And
it was 8 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Went in, Epcot, the whole 9 yards, did Disney. I remember the character breakfast. Obviously, you're there having brunch, breakfast, whatever, and the characters in the costumes walking around. I'm sure it wasn't as crazy back then as it was, or it is now, to buy tickets and to get in and all that crap.
Yes. If you're staying for any length of time and you're trying to do it all, you almost need help. It's a lot to plan.
Well, there's people out there, and I have a friend of mine, actually, who's a kind of a travel coordinator or travel agent, if you will.
Disney.
And is very into the Disney, and she specializes in that, where she can really, to the minute, almost plan out your entire Disney vacation. This guy won a free ticket to get into Disney back in 1985.
He just
saved it, and they actually honored it 39 years later. Recorded his 18-year-old daughter using it to get in. The guy at the ticket booth said they had to call his boss over to make sure it was legitimate. He's like, I've never seen one of these before. The dad won the free pass while visiting Disneyland for their 30th anniversary in August in 1985. Put it in a scrapbook and forgot about it until his daughter said she wanted to go and mentioned how expensive tickets are now. They range somewhere between $104 to $194, depending on when and where you want to go and all that, and the access you want to have. But this guy had the free ticket and was able to use it still. Here we are almost 40 years later.
I haven't seen this one yet.
Come on.
Look at that. A very rare occurrence here.
I won the ticket 39 years ago.
Wow.
I just wanted to make sure that she was able to get in.
Let's see what happens with that.
Scott says, quote, Scott King, excuse me, is the guy's name. He says, quote, at the time, they were giving away a lot of prizes. One was a Cadillac Seville. I thought I had won a car.
Yeah. No, you just won this paper, but if you keep it.
Yeah. Instead, he ended up winning a passport ticket, which Disney officials said was good for free admission and could be redeemed at any time. And, of course, along with a bunch of pictures, some other paraphernalia, some other things.
In
a scrapbook, stuck it all in there, forgot about it. Here we are 40 years later. Decided to give the scrapbook to his 18-year-old daughter, Sabrina, to see if the offer was still good. She just graduated high school with a 4.3, valedictorian of her class, something she deserves for all the hard work she did.
Yeah, even if they didn't get it redeemed for free, she deserves to go to Disney for the
Goes
day.
to Disney, and sure enough, the happiest place on earth, happy to accept the free ticket from almost 40 years ago.
They kind of have to, it feels like.
Oh, wow. It's a feel-good story in the news.
Feel-good, right? And they let one girl into the park for a day.
Yeah, not bad. More from Shaw in just a bit, plus some sleep theory. Coming up. Stick around.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
Attention binge watchers. Hulu, Disney Plus, and Max are now available as a new bundle. Introducing Who Dis Max, your one-stop destination for all those shows you would have watched if it wasn't for Netflix.
As a fan of sci-fi, The Acolyte is a must, but not as big of a must as Stranger Things on Netflix.
Only Murders in the Building stars Selena Gomez. I love her. Oh, wait. Emily in Paris is on Netflix. I'll watch that instead.
House of the Dragon is the perfect blend of fantasy and action. I'll try to get to it as soon as I finish The Witcher on Netflix.
Who Dis Max? It ain't Netflix, but hey, it's the latest confusing streaming bundle you still might check out. So just give us your credit card already, will ya?
Boy, oh boy. it's getting harder and harder to figure out what the hell kind of package I got.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Well, like your cell phone provider
Yes.
will give you free Hulu or free Netflix or free Prime or whatever the hell it is. And then if you sign up for Disney Plus, you get Hulu and you get ESPN Plus, but you don't get real ESPN. If you're a streamer, it can, and I get why they're doing it, right? Because they want you to pay for all these things as opposed to trying to cut the cord, of cable and get them, either for free or for very cheap. But it's getting harder and harder, Shaw, to figure out what the hell kind of...
So many choices.
What do I have? What am I paying for?
Well, and my wife and I have these discussions because it's like, well, if you sign up for this, like we got T-Mobile internet at our house. So like if you sign up for that, then we'll include, 6 months of Sirius XM satellite radio for free. And we're like, well, who do we have that through? Aren't we already getting that for free from somebody else? Right. Like, it can be a bit daunting. I need a personal assistant to figure all that out, Shaw. Someone that could do that for me. Haven't watched it yet, but there is a new season of Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix. It just came out.
Okay.
Looking forward to checking that one out, Shaw.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of that series.
Been busy watching, obviously, a lot of Olympics, the occasional television program, and maybe a movie or two, but haven't watched the new series of Unsolved Mysteries yet. Going to get around to that. The new one is okay. It's kind of tough. It doesn't have that same feeling that the original had, with mostly because Robert Stack
right.
is not a part of it. And, the videos from the original were all recreations for the most part, because that was out in the 80s, I believe, right? Late 80s, maybe even early 90s.
Sure.
So they were like fictional retellings of the stories. And those were creepy as hell as well, Now it's like actual video of stuff that happened with the story, video of the places that they're at, all these things. And, with the advent of the internet, it's been a lot easier to solve some of those unsolved mysteries. But still a cool series, I think, to watch. If you haven't checked it out, it's on Netflix.
The season 4 of the Umbrella Academy, I think, drops tomorrow, I believe, which I've been sort of waiting for. But it feels like I don't even remember.
Right? You got to go back and re-binge it. Yeah.
These 4 years in between things are hard to keep track of all of it.
That's why I binge things so often, is because I can't remember myself.
Sure.
I'm watching so many damn programs. I have to go back and I told you, even with the Beverly Hills Cop, or no, what was it? What the hell was the stupid movie? The Bad Boys movies. I told you that the other day, Shaw, remember?
Yep.
I had to go.
Because the new one's coming out and you wanted to refresh your memory about what happened.
Well, the new one came out and I started watching it. I think, what was it? Bad Boys for Life or Bad Boys Forever or whatever the hell it was called. And I'm watching it. I'm like, I don't remember any of these characters, but apparently they were in the previous movie. I remember the first and second one because I used to watch those ones a lot. But the third one I don't remember, so I had to watch that one first and then go.
Remember overriding things and big things that happen to big characters, but not little things or So I don't even know if I'm going to watch Umbrella Academy, but I don't even know if I'm going to be asking myself, what the hell is happening?
Well, you could go back and re-binge it.
Okay, well, I'll talk to me in November. Maybe I'll have time for all that.
Wait, you don't have anything going on in the next week or two?
No.
You're busy?
Next couple of months?
Oh. Three-way with Shaw. What else is going on?
Well, Vice President Kamala Harris and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz will spend their first full day as running mates in Wisconsin and later in Michigan. They will stop in Eau Claire this afternoon. The trip is aimed at shoring up support among the younger, diverse, labor-friendly voters who are instrumental in helping President Joe Biden win the 2020 election. That coalition has shown signs of fraying over Biden's handling of the Israel-Hamas conflict. Leaders of the Arab American community and key unions say they're encouraged by Harris's choice of a running mate. They believe it signals that she is listening to their concerns. The leaders had opposed Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro because they thought he had gone too far in his support of Israel. The presidential campaign seemed fairly normal a month ago, just as Milwaukee was preparing to host the Republican National Convention. But in the space of just a month, Donald Trump was injured by a shooter. Joe Biden ended his campaign, and Kamala Harris has now chosen Minnesota's Tim Walz as her running mate. Harris announced her choice of Walz just 16 days after Biden withdrew from the race, which is a short time to review candidates for vice president. Democrats had another quick search for a running mate back in 1972 when Senator Thomas Eagleton was nominated for VP, but dropped out 3 weeks later after admitting that he had been treated for depression. George McGovern then chose Sergeant Shriver to replace Eagleton on the ticket in 72. Incumbent President Richard Nixon went on to win the fall election. Elsewhere, If Minnesota Governor Tim Walz becomes the next vice president of the United States, who would fill his role as governor? Well, that job would go to Minnesota's Lieutenant Governor, Peggy Flanagan. And if that happens, it would be historic. Flanagan would become Minnesota's first ever female governor and the nation's first Native American woman to serve as governor. Replacing her would be the president of the Senate. That's Bobby Joe Champion, who would become the state's first black lieutenant governor. An owl from the Minnesota Zoo in Apple Valley flew away from its handler during a training session and was then eaten by a tiger.
What?
The handler was training the Eurasian eagle owl for a bird show, but it failed to come back. It landed in an outdoor tiger enclosure where it was eaten.
Bro, you just did a Sixth Sense on me.
Sorry.
You just totally did I'm like, oh, the owl flew away. Oh, I hope they get it back. Oh,
it's dead.
They're never getting it back.
Oh, it got eaten.
And it's not the first time that a Eurasian eagle owl died at the Minnesota Zoo after flying away. Back in 2021, Gladys the owl flew off a tree during a training session and was found days later.
More nets? Do they need more nets or something?
Right. Well, I mean, they're trying to train it, right? So it has to fly and come back.
I understand, but
but yes, maybe they're going to rethink that.
Or next to the not next to the
not
lions.
next to the tigers and lions or bears. Oh my. Connor texted in and said Umbrella Academy starts tomorrow, so you were right, Gene.
Yeah, I
the
think
new
so.
season.
Yeah.
New season. Final season, right?
Yes. Season 4.
Also got a text from Corbin, says, morning guys, in need of a little midweek pick-me-up. Duality by Slipknot. I said I could probably do that. We were talking about Michaela Skinner making videos about how she's getting bullied online, getting death threats because of the stuff she said about
death threats.
Simone Biles and the gymnast teams. And Cordell says, don't make sappy videos because that just gives the haters more fuel to give you threats. Just be an adult and ignore the haters. And Selective Hearing Stu is upset at you, Shaw.
Again?
He says, quote, unquote, injured by a shooter. Tell me you're a lefty without telling me you're a lefty.
I don't understand, I guess.
I think you referred to Trump
yes.
as opposed to attempted assassination.
Well, we can call it that, sure.
Yeah.
It was that.
It was that.
It was both. Can it be both? Why not both?
I don't. Okay.
I think you, in this newscast, you might have said he was injured by a shooter.
I did say that, yes.
Okay. And so Selective Hearing Stu is upset and wants you to know that he's aware that you're a lefty, Shaw.
Okay.
Even though you didn't necessarily say it out loud.
Okay.
Your choice of words has told him he's used his detective skills to figure it out. Way to go, Stu. Put that on your refrigerator. That's refrigerator work for Stu.
Well, he wanted to bring that to your attention, Shaw.
The attempted assassination.
Mm-hmm. Truth.
I don't know why that makes a difference to people. One way, I don't get it. One way or the other. I think I get it. Injured by shooter, attempted assassination. Both of them say the same thing to me. I don't quite understand. Carson says, have any advice for an ex that keeps calling my phone with different numbers after I block her? We don't get asked for advice very often from people.
I don't know. She's calling for different. Do you answer your phone?
Number one, Carson, don't answer the phone.
Just don't.
I thought you young people knew about this.
Just don't answer.
Never answer your phone. The only time I answer is if I know who it is, like my wife, my mother-in-law.
Me.
Even you are pushing the boundaries here because I get enough goddamn emails from you every day. I don't need phone calls as well.
But if I'm calling you, you know it's probably
something
important.
serious, right? Best friends, those kind of things.
You don't have to answer the strange call. I would start with that. Don't answer.
He says he never has answered the phone, but
she leaves messages.
She has made calls from over 42 phone numbers. Here's the advice. Pack up your Buick LeSabre with whatever you can carry.
And put in there.
Put the rest of your stuff in a storage unit. And then travel halfway across the country.
Relocate.
And
start
sleep
your new life.
Sleep on a guy's couch for a few weeks before you get your life up and running again. And eventually you'll be me. That's what I did.
Start over far, far away.
That's legit the story of my life. Went to the police station, said to the cop, I was like, I want a reporter. I'm like, she won't leave me alone. She's coming to my work. She's calling me all the time. She called me like 100 times when I was at the police station. And he answered the phone, the cop. He's like, look, bitch, you got to stop calling him. He didn't say that, but yeah, I hear you, Carson. I hear you clucking, big chicken. I would say maybe get a new phone number.
I would, yep.
If that doesn't, I know it sucks. I know that's terrible, but you got to, if it's...
Also talk to the police.
number one, first and foremost, when you're dealing with a crazy ex, no matter what gender they are,
keep track of all the things.
Keep detailed records of everything. Do not delete the phone list or the calls. If there's emails or text or whatever, keep track of all of that. Print it out if you have to. Make a binder, right? You need to have a paper trail.
Or get a Buick LeSabre and pack up.
Or as I did in November of 2003, pack a Buick LeSabre full of your worldly possessions and travel to Wisconsin, where you can meet people in the radio business.
And relocate.
Start over. Yeah. But seriously, though, Carson, another piece of advice. Don't get drunk and sleep with her after all of this, right? Don't make that fatal mistake. I did that as well.
Don't do that.
After all of the phone calls and text messages, one day I got drunk and I succumbed to her wily ways.
Maybe other people have other advice if you want to share for...
Carson says, any advice for an ex that keeps calling my phone with different numbers after I block her? He says, my Mazda is already packed, but thanks for the advice. I was poor. I was in my 20s. I had a Buick LeSabre. That's all I could afford. I have better credit now and a wife that makes a lot of money, so I can afford a better vehicle. Give me a break. It still made it all the way out here.
Yes, right. It did. It got you here.
Oh, yeah, it did. All right, sports coming up after Ramon Ayala. It's Giovanni and the Hired Guns.
Rock Mornings on 95.7 The Rock.
And now, things that sound dirty in the Olympics, but aren't.
I love that these two ladies are next to each other because they can suss each other out.
I've been through the Olympics 3 times. It is hard.
Action has been tight so far.
Ludwig stayed a little wider on that to open up. He had to poke it.
They were virtually stroke for stroke.
So it's another big one for the Americans, but not as big as Martin Engie.
But what the pullout? Hughes.
He takes it all here in Paris.
Been a very long time coming.
This has been things that sound dirty in the Olympics, but aren't.
It's right up our alley.
It sure is.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. BuzzFeed.com has a list of 24 facts about the 2024 Paris Olympics.
Oh, okay.
Things you may not know. The number one thing is hilarious because we actually looked at this. The skateboarding team from Great Britain is like 3 teenage girls and a 50-year-old guy.
That's it.
Like a dude who was born in 1973, and then
3 girls from
we know
16,
one girl's
17.
like 16, the other one's 18, and the other one's definitely much under 20 is my guess.
Yes.
According to their official page. But hey, man, old dudes can still skateboard. Tony Hawk, right? He can still do the damn thing.
Yeah.
The horses.
Tell me.
The plane they used to fly the horses? Air Horse One.
No. For real. That's awesome.
The plane they used to fly the horses from all over the world to the Olympics for the equestrian events is called Air Horse One. So do the Olympics have their own plane and they send it to different countries? Because you don't just show up and they give you a horse, right? You got to bring your own horse. You're training with this animal for months and years and whatever, right? So they send them to your country and pick up your horses?
I don't know. Now you're making me think about it.
There was a lot of these. This one is pretty funny. We saw Simone Biles, of course, the 12-foot height, the jump.
Yes.
12 feet in the air. And a lot of the memes were how many items stacked on top of each other.
Sure.
I saw it was
Gallons of milk and
3 Ben
stuff.
Shapiros, I think. It's 8.4 corgis. So if you take 8 corgis and then maybe a puppy, that's 12 feet. And you stack them on top of each other. This is according to BuzzFeed.com. Also, Wales surfing event, Tahiti. Did you see that?
I did see that. It jumps up and splashes.
It didn't hit a surfer. It was in the background, but still pretty cool.
Nature being beautiful.
This is one of the coolest things. We haven't mentioned this yet, but have you heard about Beacon?
I don't think so.
The lab?
I don't
the
think
therapy dog for the gymnastics team? The U.S. gymnastics team has a therapy dog named Beacon, the official therapy dog for the U.S. gymnastics team. Beautiful boy. You got to get a look at him. Oh, yeah.
But
lots of pictures.
Black lab, yellow lab.
Yellow lab. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Beacon. Let's see what else they got. BuzzFeed.com putting together a list of some of the things you might not know about the Olympics. I didn't know this. Former NBA player Yao Ming is the coach of the Chinese women's basketball team. I suppose.
Yeah.
Who knows more than Yao? Not many people. And it's pretty funny, too, because he's like 7 feet plus.
Yes, and
the rest of like the trainers and the coaches are like 4 feet tall.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, that's him in the front.
God.
Yeah, I know,
like
right?
He's a kindergarten teacher.
Yeah. There's a guy on the Italian archery team that apparently people are confusing for Eminem. Did you see this guy?
No, does he look like him?
Yeah, Slim Shady. Look at him. The death of Slim Shady.
I can see it, but
he's got a little bit of that Eminem thing going on. But if you go to BuzzFeed.com, you'll see some interesting facts about the 2024 Olympics.
Apparently, Air Horse One was a different transportation company that did have a plane that was called Air Horse One, but this year they used a different, the United States used a different one.
They did their own?
Dutta Corporation.
With their air conditioners in it, too?
With a different transport company, apparently.
The pommel horse guy, Steve Nadarasic, I think is his name.
Bronze winner.
Yeah. So not only got that whole Superman glasses on, glasses off, pommel horse specialist type thing going on.
And he's super smart in school, and he could do the Rubik's Cube in like 9 seconds.
Yes,
I've seen it.
The Rubik's Cube in under 10 seconds.
Yeah, I've seen it.
So the nerd thing is...
Done. 9 seconds. It's like 9:16 or something. They're strong with him. Strong ways, the nerd.
It's pretty sweet. There you go. Some interesting stuff about the Olympics, which continue the rest of this week. I think the closing ceremony is on Sunday. We'll get back to Shaw in just a couple minutes, plus some Dead Poet Society next.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
Dead Poet Society running in circles, part of the third and final act of the Ultra Rock Summer Concert Series at Copeland Park and Event Center on Saturday, September 14th. That also includes Highly Suspect and Des Rocks. Details and tickets online at CopelandEvents.com. Charlize Theron.
Uh-huh.
49 years young today, Shaw.
Well, happy birthday to her.
Lovely young lady.
She is indeed.
Won an Oscar for the movie Monster.
So I listened real hard to any advice he had. And for sure, he said something that just stuck right in my mind. It was, all you need in life is love and to believe in yourself. And then there's nothing you can't do.
I don't know if the makeup person won an Oscar as well, but they should have because...
Thought they did.
They made her ugly.
Boy, oh boy, did she not only look like Eileen Wuornos? Was that her name? Eileen Wuornos?
The serial killer?
Yeah, the like hooker serial killer, but she
totally different.
Didn't look anything like Charlize Theron. Michael Shannon is 50 years young, got his start in Groundhog Day with Bill Murray.
Rita, this is Debbie and Fred Kleisner.
Hi.
Here you go, kids. Congratulations.
What's this? No way. WrestleMania! No way!
Played Fred, very excited to win those WrestleMania tickets, courtesy of Bill Murray. Also played General Zod in Man of Steel. He's been in a whole bunch of other stuff. Interesting actor, Michael Shannon. 50 years old. Harold Perrineau is 61. He played Link in The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions.
It's got to be the ugliest hack I've ever done.
The ugliest hack he's ever done. Also was Michael on Lost way back in the day. Been in a bunch of other stuff. But David Duchovny, 64 years young today. X-Files, Fox Mulder, right? The truth is out there.
Was he the sex addict?
He was.
David Duchovny, yeah, he was the legitimate sex addict,
Yeah.
right? Tia Leone was his
Went
wife,
to,
and
rehab
he had to go to rehab
facility.
for that, yeah. Also was on Californication. A lot of people said that was a good show as well. Did you ever see that one show?
I did not.
No? All right. But yeah, David Duchovny, 64 years young. Bruce Dickinson, no, not super producer Bruce Dickinson.
Oh, man.
Iron Maiden lead singer Bruce Dickinson is 66. Not only did he kick cancer's ass, but he sings for Iron Maiden. And he flies his own damn plane.
He's a pilot.
He's a pilot.
They don't need to have anybody fly him into Heathrow. He can take care of it himself. Wayne Knight is 69. Basic Instinct, Jurassic Park, and of course, Newman on Seinfeld.
I'm a United States postal worker. Aren't those the guys that always go crazy and come back with a gun and shoot everybody? Sometimes.
Why
is that?
Because the mail never stops. It just keeps coming and coming and coming. There's never a let-up. It's relentless. Every day it piles up more and more and more, and you got to get it out. But the more you get out, the more it keeps coming in. And then the barcode reader breaks, and its publisher's clearing out.
All right. I know the chunky who's been eating these chunkies. Wayne Knight, 69. Newman. Tobin Bell is 82. You know him better as Jigsaw in the Saw movies.
I want to play a game.
He wants to play a game, Shaw.
Yeah, no thanks.
Nope.
Wants you to, like, dig a key out of your own stomach.
Which is why I don't watch those. Nope. Zero. No, never. No.
This guy was born on this day in 1942. He died in 2021. BJ Thomas, Shaw. Raindrops
just like the guy whose feet up
keep falling on my head. Are your feet too big for your bed, Shaw?
No, they're not.
No, they're the right size?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect size for your bed?
Yes.
Today, as we mentioned earlier, August 7th is Purple Heart Day because 242 years ago in 1782, George Washington created the Order of the Purple Heart, which is given exclusively to servicemen and women who are wounded in combat. The oldest military decoration still in use, and the first award made available to the common soldier. Also on this day in 1969, the Beatles took the Abbey Road photo, one of the most famous photos in the history of mankind,
sure
right?
Is.
81, heavy metal in theaters. Sammy Hagar on the soundtrack, the animated film, right? About outer space, heavy metal travels. No?
Yes.
You remember that one?
I don't.
You don't remember that? Soundtrack was killer.
Yeah.
1985, the movie Real Genius in theaters starring Val Kilmer.
No, seriously, listen, if there's ever anything I can do for you, or more to the point, to you, you let me know, okay?
Can you hammer a 6-inch spike through a board with your penis?
Not right now.
A girl's got to have her standards.
Real Genius in theaters on this day in 1985. 1987, Who's That Girl? Madonna in theaters. They made a movie out of that show.
Yeah, they did.
She sang the theme song to it.
Imagine that.
Is that the one with Arquette? Rosanna Arquette?
No, that was Desperately Seeking Susan.
Okay. Which one was Who's That Girl? Which one was
I
that?
don't even know.
Was that the one with the
I don't
tiger?
even know
Or was
what
that
you're talking
Desperately?
about.
There was a tiger in one of them too, wasn't there?
Got me.
I thought there was a tiger, right?
Is there?
I wasn't in The Hangover.
Yeah. What do they dream of, though, Shaw? When they take a little tiger snooze? I can't remember which one Who's That Girl was.
The life of an uptight tax lawyer turns chaotic when
he
he's
starts
asked
dating
to
Madonna?
escort a young woman.
She had Harry Pitts in that one, right? Wasn't that the one where she had Harry Pitts? I remember the Harry Pitts, Shaw.
That was from a Playboy spread, I think. But
well, when you're 11 years old and you see a woman for the first time with hairy armpits, it kind of sticks with you, Shaw. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just, for me, it was the first time I'd ever seen that. So, let's see. 1990, we found this out earlier this morning. Extreme dropped their album, their second studio album, Pornograffiti, featuring the massive hit More Than Words. This one was played at a few weddings in the 90s, yeah. Also Wholehearted, we heard from them earlier this morning. 1992, Clint Eastwood, Gene Hackman, the movie Unforgiven in theaters.
You just shot an unarmed man. Well, he should have armed himself.
You tell him, Clint.
Why didn't he?
Well, he should have armed himself. Peter Jennings died on this day in 2005. That was 19 years ago. Died of lung cancer. Just 67 at the time, Shaw. 2007, Barry Bonds broke Hank Aaron's record with number 756.
Deals. And Bonds hits one high. It's a deep. It is out of here. 756.
His final total was 762, but we all know that Hammerin' Hank is the real record holder with 755 because he did it au natural.
That's right.
2009, G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra in theaters. He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble, Shaw. G.I. Joe is there. Did you know that?
Sure did.
Knowing is half the battle. Real American hero. And also on this day in 2021, just 3 years ago, Marky Post from Night Court. She died at the age of 70, also of cancer. We've been watching, the original series. My wife and I going back and watching the original series. And for some reason, I don't know, because your phone listens to you when you talk, right?
Yes.
I started getting posts about Marky Post because we were talking about Night Court. on my phone as I'm scrolling through on Facebook, and
It's like, here, you might be interested in this.
Well, and on the show, she dresses nice. She's very attractive.
Lawyer. Yeah.
But she's a lawyer, so she dresses like a lawyer. And then there's all these like swimsuit photos of her that are popping up on my feed, and I'm showing them my wife. I'm like, this is Marky Post. She's like, no, that's not. I'm like, yeah, it is apparently. I said, I didn't think that was her either, but apparently that's her.
Thank you, phone.
Marky Post had it going on. Got a text from Cheryl. She just said Newman.
Well, she's
Also
in the postal business, Cheryl is,
Yeah.
so she can relate.
Justin also texted in and said, Californication is wild. You'd love it. The David Duchovny show. Was that on Cinemax? Showtime? Also, we were, I don't know if you caught it, Shaw, but we got to ask for some advice.
Okay.
From Carson earlier. He texted in and said, do you have any advice for an ex that keeps calling your phone with different numbers after I block her?
Ooh.
Said she's made calls to him on his phone from over 42 different numbers.
Shaw, would you have any advice for that?
Yeah, call the police.
I said,
lock your doors.
As a person who has direct knowledge of this situation, Shaw, that's how I ended up here in Wisconsin. I gave him a couple of pieces of advice. I said, number one, keep a record of everything, right? The text, the phone calls, emails, pictures, any of that. Anything that happens, you got to keep a record of it. Maybe a binder. Then I recommended maybe packing up your Buick LeSabre with your worldly possessions and moving to Wisconsin. I think he might already live
Sleeping
here.
on Rudy's couch for a couple weeks, months.
I ever tell you? I told you that story, right?
Yes,
the first day I walked in, there's this huge dildo right there on the floor. Just massive. I'm like, what the hell is going on in this place?
I don't know, but here I am in all my boxes in my car.
And then I also recommended maybe changing your phone number, right? Getting a different
Get a
phone.
new phone. That's not a bad idea.
Might be a way to go. Kyle texted in and said, wonder if your ex listens to the show and would get qualified for the Pike LMAO. And I said, she actually found me, my ex.
Years.
In the 2 days it took me to move here, I left New Hampshire, and she went on the computer. I didn't delete all the cookies and stuff, and apparently she did, searched and found me. And she was calling the radio station down the hall, like wondering where I was. Knew I was coming here.
That's scary.
So when I got here, Matt Casey was like, hey, I think your ex was calling here looking for him. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, my God. I can't even get away from it in Wisconsin. Where am I going to go next?
She never came, though. She never ventured. She does it far away.
Yes. I think she's married now with kids. So
yeah.
I'm safe, I think. Whew. We'll get to some actual news next time we talk to Shaw. Plus, we'll get to bad news, happy music a bit later on. And your Killing Me Shaws is coming up. Your shot at $20 of my morning show money. Thanks for all the correspondence. Find us online at rockmornings.com if you want to get in touch with us.
Rock Mornings on your rock station.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. So, Sold a Squeal. Squeeze. I got it. Sold a Squeeze from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Brain fart. Your Killing Me Shaw is coming up in a few minutes. Your chance to win $20 of my morning show money. See if you can figure out whether or not Shaw's going to know the movie quote or not. Also, bad news, happy music, and our daily check-ins. Also, the friggin' sports. Lots and lots to get to here in the next hour or so. Going to be kind of cloudy today with a high near 80 in our area. 77 tomorrow. Looks like only 72 on Friday, so not bad over the next few days.
Remember the skateboarder you were talking about? The Great Britain, the team skateboarding for Great Britain. There's the 150-year-old guy.
Andy something or other?
And a bunch of young people.
Yeah.
So he was born in Massachusetts, by the way.
Oh, really?
He's been a professional skateboarder since 1994, well before most of his competition was even born.
Right.
He'll be the oldest skateboarder at Paris. He owns 23 medals at the X Games. He's a pioneer in the sport, apparently. Has a Game Boy Color title named after him. He was the first person to ever skateboard through the White House during the Clinton presidency, isn't so? He's got a lot of history. His name is Andy McDonald.
Nice little feather in the cap there.
Melrose, Massachusetts, is apparently.
Did he do any ollies off of anything while he was in the White House, or just skate down the hallway?
I don't know. I don't know that part.
Right.
But
kick flips, nothing. Rail grind. Oh, hey, G-Dub, watch this. Know that. All right, we got Shinedown in a couple of minutes, and we'll play your Killing Me Shaws next. Stick around. It's Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene.
More of your Rock Mornings coming up in just a bit.
I pity the fool.
The other two usually have no clue what the he just said.
You like movies about gladiators?
You love to party.
I'll be back. Wednesday mornings at 8:15. Win Brian's Morning Show money
They're always after me, Lucky Charms.
by playing You're Killing Me, Shaws.
You're killing me, Smalls.
I want you to be nice until it's time to not be nice.
$20 of my morning show money up for grabs with your Killing Me Shaws this week. Gene, what do you think? Is he going to get it or not?
Yes.
Wow.
$20 is enough to go out for a happy hour, and it's a nice little payout.
That's your reasoning as to why Shaw will know it?
Mm-hmm.
Is because it's enough to go out for a happy hour.
And my vertigo's a little bit better today, so I'm feeling more positive.
Well,
a little positive.
Jean thinks that Shaw's going to know the movie quote, but as always, her opinion is irrelevant. It's about you on the phone, 608-784-0957. We'll see what the hell happens on our end. We've been trying to figure this phone thing out for months.
It's going to be a little game. It'll be a game for us, too.
Be a little hide and seek. Figure out what the hell's going on here. Try to find a phone system that works. All right, 608-784-0957. If you're caller 15 and you guess correctly, you'll win $20 of my morning show money. If not, then we'll add $10 to it, make it $30 next week. But get on the phone, give us a ring if you want to play your Killing Me Shaws for your shot at my morning show money.
Rock mornings. On air, online, on the app. One of them can have an entire conversation made up of movie quotes.
I pity the fool.
The other two usually have no clue what the he just said.
You like movies about gladiators?
You love to party.
I'll be back. Wednesday mornings at 8:15. Win Brian's Morning Show money
They're always after me, Lucky Charms.
by playing You're Killing Me, Shaws.
You're killing me, Smalls.
I want you to be nice until it's time to not be nice.
$20 of my morning show money up for grabs, Shaw. Jean thinks you're going to know it.
All right. Appreciate the support.
She doesn't really have faith in you.
Oh.
She just thinks that $20 is enough to go have a few drinks with.
Yeah, that's true. Not
I
sure
was
what
going
one
to meet
has
up
to
with
do
a
with the other, but
friend yesterday for some cocktails, but Shaw had vertigo the last couple of days, and I didn't get to
Sorry
go.
to hear that.
I was
I heard
thinking
that
that maybe...
lots of alcohol will cure that.
Will it really? I don't know about that.
Have you tried?
No, I did
Then how
some
would you
neck
know?
things where you flop on the side of your...
Oh, that
you
sounds
turn your head, Shaw,
fun.
and then you flop on your bed, and you let the spins happen.
Ooh, yuck.
Well, as always, Gene's opinion is irrelevant. It's all about caller 15 on the rock line, 608-784-0957. Who's this?
Zach.
Zach?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Zach. How are you?
Good morning. How are you guys?
Do you think that Shaw's going to know the movie quote today for $20 and some happy hour cocktails, or no? No, sir.
Yeah, I'm with you. That sounds good to me.
You think he's going to know it, huh?
Yes, sir.
What are you going to do with $20 of my morning show money if you win?
I'm with Gene. Go for some happy hour.
There you go.
Good plan.
$20. Get you a drink or two. Zach thinks you're going to know it. Gene thinks you're going to know it. I guess we'll find out, Shaw. You ready?
Yep.
Listen closely.
And from now on,
Stop playing with yourself.
It is God.
That does not sound familiar to me.
You want to hear it again?
Sure.
Listen closely.
and from now on,
Stop playing with yourself.
It is God.
Catch all that?
Yeah, I think so. Okay.
Want to hear it one more time?
Yes.
All right, listen closely, Shaw.
and from now on,
Stop playing with yourself.
It is God.
Anything ring a bell?
Not the clip itself. No.
The voices? Any of the voices make any sense to you?
Well, I'm wondering, because you said earlier that it was a anniversary of the release of a movie with Val Kilmer, and I wondered if that was the clip that you played. So I'm gonna go with that one, and that was Real Genius, right?
Oh, look at this guy.
I have not seen the movie, but
Oh, you're missing out.
is it good?
Yeah, it's got William Atherton in it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I think it is. Val Kilmer. It's got a whole bunch of people in it. The point is, you got it right, Shaw, and Zach also guessed that you would get it right, so he's got $20 of my morning show
Enjoy your
money.
happy hour.
So what they do, there's this guy, they're trying to build a laser, and the professor wants to sell the laser to the military, and he's using these nerds to make the laser they don't know. But his, personal assistant at the school is a guy named Kent, and he's kind of a weasel. And so what they do is they put him to sleep in his dorm room. They stick a tube under there, and they basically fill it.
Gas him?
They gas him so he falls asleep. Then they go in, they do some minor dental work, and they put like a little transponder on his braces or whatever, so that when they talk to him, it sounds like the voice of God. And they're trying to figure out what he knows about the laser. And then at the end, they say, "Stop playing with yourself." And then he goes, "It is God." It's very funny. You should watch it. There's a huge popcorn scene at the end.
Okay.
They fill the professor's house with a Jiffy Pop popcorn shot. You never seen it, huh? No. Not once, huh?
No.
Man, I thought for sure.
It was on my radar.
Well, that was nice that you're sharing the wealth with...
Yeah. Zach's going to go have a cocktail.
Zach on this hump day, getting us over the hump.
Can't get that jackpot up there, man. It's just it's kind of simmering right in that $10, $20 range. So Zach's got $20 of my morning show money. We'll reset the jackpot to $10 next week. Congratulations to Zach. And other than sounding like he was calling from outer space,
it worked okay.
The phone kind of worked, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And you were talking about a dental procedure?
Yeah.
The robot dentists?
No, I'm not doing it. You know me. I don't do the
robot dentists?
No.
AI company called Perceptive pulled off the first fully automated dental procedure with a robotic arm, shaving down a guy's tooth for a crown, and then it works by mapping out your mouth 3D wise, and then it clamps onto your jaw, and then a drill moves in circles and grinds down your
Dude,
teeth.
I am not letting a robot with a drill near my mouth. That
Precision and efficiency compared to human dentists, apparently.
That is not happening. Nope. Never, not once.
It's
never.
not ready to be out on the market. They're still testing it and all that stuff. It's
good. Unplug
it. A few years away from approval.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure in a few years.
Offices all
I'm
over
sure
the
in a few years they'll work out all of the kinks. That thing won't drill a hole in the side of your face.
One of the investors is Zuckerberg's dad, who is a dentist, by the way. So it's AI dentistry.
Wow. And then the commercial with the surgeon who's doing surgery over the internet from another continent. Yeah, that's what I want. No, I don't. I want them physically there. AI.
I have had the Crown where they do the 3D imaging and they make it while you're in the the dentist. So you leave that same afternoon, which is slick. Like having that.
Yeah, but the dentist is doing all the work.
But
a human being, someone with a brain.
Is there someone
hands.
next to the robot? The suction person, right? The rinse out person who could be like, "Oh, that looks like it's not doing what it's supposed to do."
Maybe
can stop it, or somehow pain level or something.
I'm never. Even if all my teeth fall out, I'm never going to an AI dentist.
No more robot.
Nope.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. That is Faith No More and Epic. The friggin' sports.
Ooh, this is fun. What are we doing?
Brought to you by Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide to infinity. You know the roof on fire. We gonna boogie.
Pitbull, who already has his hands in NASCAR, along with the music industry, is also now going to sponsor Florida International Stadium for the next 5 seasons.
What are we doing? What's going on?
You know Pitbull.
I do know Pitbull.
I'm a fireball. Yeah, Pitbull, that guy, has now signed a deal to sponsor Florida International Stadium for the next 5 seasons. So much like AT&T Stadium or AmFam Field in Milwaukee.
Stadium?
I don't know what they're calling it yet, but the Pitbull Stadium sounds good to me. The deal is worth just over $1 million per season. Seems pretty cheap. This partnership with FIU is a true honor and a testament to what we can achieve when we work hard. Renaming the stadium isn't just about a name change. It's about inspiring the community, creating opportunities, and showing the world that with determination and a clear vision, anything is possible. We're making history together, and we're just getting started. Why dream when you can live it? Fireball Stadium?
No, Pitbull.
Pitbull Stadium?
Uh-huh.
Pitbull?
That's what they're saying.
Pitbull Football Stadium?
That's what they're saying.
Did they have a name for it already, or was it just Florida International Stadium?
The location starting this fall will officially be Pitbull Stadium.
Pitbull Stadium, Florida International. Getting a new, well, not a new stadium, but they're getting a name.
It will now bear his name, apparently.
Interesting. We're going to have a Beyonce stadium?
If she wants.
Kim Kardashian Stadium? And we got Jimmy
So is
Kimmel.
he-
We got a Jimmy Kimmel Bowl game right now.
Pitbull Stadium after entering the 5-year duel with the musician.
All right.
He'll pay him $1.2 million over the next 5 years for the naming rights. He's going to record and deliver a song for the school to be played at all of their sporting events. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Duh. That makes perfect sense. Pitbull, Florida International University. Teaming up.
He does it
Pitbull
because
Stadium.
he's from there, apparently.
Well, yeah,
It's his backyard.
He's
and
Miami, Mr. Worldwide.
We don't do this for propaganda. We do it from the heart. We do it because it's meaningful. You're going to see that every other university is going to try to do the same thing. Well, get paid. Wow.
Yeah, there's money to be made. No doubt. Stained coming up in a few minutes, plus bad news, happy music is next. Stick around.
Rock mornings, only on 95.7 The Rock.
You're about to enter a beautiful, exciting, wonderful new world.
A cockroach living in your nostril. Now that's just nasty. Add in some haven't pooped for 30 days.
Poop is raining from the ceilings. Poop.
And sprinkle in some hashtag Florida Man for flavor.
Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man. Florida man.
Florida man.
Florida man quits his Burger King job, steals all of their chicken nuggets.
It's bad news.
Bad news.
With happy music.
Let's rock.
A hump day edition of Bad News with happy music. What do we got?
Well, this young Florida man is destined for great things, said no headline ever. Instead, this Florida man is wanted after a 13-year-old boy was shot last month. The shooting happened in Port Orange, Florida. According to investigators, after the shooting, the boy had no feelings in his legs and may never walk again. Investigators discovered the man, 18-year-old Skylar Snyder, had sold 2 of the weapons to the minors that were involved in the shooting, one of which was used in the shooting of the 13-year-old. Separate firearms were recovered from other minors that were unrelated to the shooting. 3 of those guns had been reported stolen. As a result, Snyder is facing charges of dealing in stolen property and selling a firearm to a minor. A warrant has been issued for his arrest, but he remains on the loose. Not surprisingly, multiple triathletes have been hospitalized after swimming in the River Seine at the Paris Olympics. The polluted river is being used for men's, women's, and mixed relay triathlon events. Switzerland's Aidan Brifford fell seriously ill following the men's triathlon last week. Of course, the same course is set to host the 10-kilometer open water swims tomorrow and Friday. 2 athletes have reportedly been hospitalized after swimming in the river. By the way, this Brifford, he finished 49th out of 50 competitors and chose not to compete in the mixed relay portion of the competition.
Is there no other rivers in France or Paris?
Right?
There's none, not a single. I mean, obviously, at this point, it's too late in the game, but they couldn't take this to a. I mean, again, we talked about it ad nauseum about 100 years of not swimming in there, not to mention the billions of dollars they used to clean it up. They had all this time leading up to the Olympics.
Years.
A decade, I think, is when you know. You got a decade to plan it and build everything and get it all figured out. And they still couldn't get it right, and they're hospitalizing athletes because of it. They couldn't move it to a different river or something like that?
The Belgian team withdrew from the event after one of their competitors was hospitalized with an E. coli infection. She'd been sick for 4 days following the women's event.
Oh, thank you.
A balancing bear stole the show in one Florida neighborhood, and no, the circus was not in town. This bear was caught on camera tightrope walking across a wooden fence in someone's backyard. Looked like it was doing an acrobatic act of some kind, according to the video. The guy who lives there said he first noticed the bear peeking over his backyard fence. He said, "We both made eye contact. I was hoping he was going to find a different route after he saw me, but decided that he wasn't." The bear ultimately hopped off the fence and darted across the street into a neighbor's yard.
The bears can smell the menstruation.
Let's see. Anybody out there good with rhymes? There's got to be a joke here somewhere.
Rhymes?
There once was a man from Nantucket
who's
just had to cancel all his credit cards.
Oh.
Noah Carberg is the manager of the Nantucket Airport in Massachusetts. He lost his wallet the other day when he got robbed in broad daylight by a seagull. He was loading bags into his car at the grocery store and set his wallet down on his shopping cart. The gull swooped in, snagged the wallet, and took off.
Flew away?
Yeah, he said his first thought was, I want my wallet back. His second thought was, I probably look like an idiot chasing a flying bird through a parking lot.
Gotta get that guy from New Jersey.
Mine.
He chased it across the lot, over a fence, and onto the roof of a car wash next door before he finally gave up.
Onto a car wash?
Yeah, apparently.
He got up on top of the car wash?
On the roof, yeah.
Oh, geez.
There's a video
Really
of
went
the
after it.
bird on the roof shaking the cash out of the wallet. Then it picks the wallet back up in its beak and flies off. Obviously, the bird didn't eat the wallet. It probably just dropped it somewhere, but so far, nobody has found it and turned it in.
Kind of like that, Sean.
Kind of like that.
Kind of like that. Grabbed his wallet, took off. Did he get his cash back at least?
It sounds like it, yeah.
All right, but
Not
he's
the
got to
wallet.
call and cancel his credit card.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have the opposite. The bird take the cash, and I don't have to do all that work.
That's
Oh, I
true.
know.
I mean, that is such a pain.
It is so
I don't care so much about losing my wallet. I mean, I don't want to lose my wallet, obviously, but the whole thought of like, oh crap, what the hell was in there, and who do I got to call? What do I got to do? Or do you just wait around till you get the notification? Like, is this a fraudulent purchase? Yes.
You know, my wife got a message from the bank this week, in fact, saying there may have been some fraud on her account. There were 2 charges, each for 90 cents, which she did not make.
Well, that's what happens.
They test it, typically.
It's the
Small
hold,
amount.
right? Yeah.
And so the bank called and said, was this you? And she's like, no. And they're like, okay, cut up your credit card and we'll send you a new one.
Well, it's good to know they're looking out, though, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, she wouldn't have known otherwise.
Yeah.
So what are you in for? Murder and mayhem. You? Stealing Bluey bucks.
What the hell are Bluey bucks?
Well, there's a TV show, a kid's show, called Bluey.
It's a
Okay?
dog, cartoon.
Blue dog, okay.
And an alleged Bluey coin bandit has been charged by police in New South Wales for allegedly stealing over $600,000 worth of this limited edition currency. The Royal Australian Mint's Dollar Bucks coin collection features Bluey alongside other characters from the TV show as part of a special limited release. Fewer than 100,000 of the coins were minted. The colorful Dollar Bucks feature Bluey on one coin with the Healer family and the Grannies on 2 others. Now, the release was intended to be a celebration of the incredibly popular TV show, but now are the subject of an alleged heist. Police arrested a man after investigating a robbery at a warehouse where
These
63
like Pokemons? Like Pokemon cards? Or like, is
yeah,
they valuable?
they're actual coins. They are worth $1. Okay, but then the government printed them as part of a limited edition. This guy worked at a warehouse and allegedly stole $63,000 of the $1 Bluey coins.
What are you going to do with all those?
He was selling them online just hours after he allegedly stole them, the coins being sold for about 10 times their original value.
Imagine if they did that in America. They like took dollar bills and they were printing them with like Gene Hackman on them. Like it's a special limited edition Gene Hackman dollar.
We do that with postage stamps.
Yeah, but like
actual currency.
Where I could actually walk into a store and
Right.
use my Gene Hackman dollar to get a coffee.
My Elvis Presley dollar. Yes.
Right?
Cartoons.
Yeah.
You're talking
Can I
about.
use my Pee Wee Herman $5 bill to get myself a big funny thumb that I stick on my hand to hitchhike? What government was this?
This is in New South Wales.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
And there are people who are passionate about their collections, and there are also hoarders. It's still hard, though, to make sense of this.
I'm not a hoarder. Don't point at me.
I am pointing at you.
I am not. My wife is the hoarder. I'm the collector. I have stopped.
Very different.
I have stopped buying things that are part of the collection. She has not. That's the difference.
Okay.
She's
Congrats.
borderline hoarder. Not full hoarder, but she's getting there.
Well, here's a 57-year-old guy who spent the last 15 years stealing wine worth around $550,000 from some of the top wineries in France where he worked as a maintenance technician.
So he works there for a little while.
Yeah, he moved around from winery to winery.
Steals some wine.
And then stashes it in his personal collection.
Hell yeah.
It includes around 8,000 bottles of wine. However...
hey, Jenny, hey, Wayne.
However, what?
He was finally caught after security cameras caught him sneaking 4 bottles of wine from an employer who then called police. So this guy, 8,000 bottles of wine, but it doesn't appear that he ever drank a drop of it or sold a single bottle. They say that since his haul was found intact, all of the bottles could be returned to their owners.
I don't even understand.
Orgies are not too much fun.
The man said he had no plans
to do with you.
for the bottles that he stole. He just wanted to, quote, sit in the middle of his cellars to contemplate them.
There's all kinds of other wines. Peanut Nor?
That guy's an idiot.
Exactly.
He didn't drink one bottle of wine?
He never opened any of them.
Not any of them.
8,000 bottles he stole.
But no way, Jose. My spin
It's this guy's problem.
It's like fruit.
So he stole it. He never gave it as gifts. He never drank it. He didn't do anything with it. He just
didn't sell it. Nothing.
I will say there is something unique and interesting about a really good wine cellar, Shaw.
Oh, absolutely. And this guy had quite a collection.
Did he have people over to admire it, or he couldn't because it was all
stolen? I think it was just him that was having
Blueberry wine.
Just sit down there and touch his bottles.
Contemplate it, yeah.
That guy's weird and an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Go through all that trouble, all those different jobs, you steal all that wine,
no payoff.
You hook it up in the basement. You got a really sweet wine cellar going on.
Nothing.
And that's it.
Nothing.
Then you just sit there
and look at him.
And look at it. And contemplate.
Contemplate, yes.
How dumb you are.
No, I stole all these. It's just, and my collection's getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Anything else that he stole?
No, that was it. Just the bottles of
See,
wine.
I don't think that's hoarding. Hoarding is like when you have a problem in your, like when you have to make a path. If you got to make a path inside of your house to get somewhere, that's hoarding. That should be numero uno.
Like can't sleep on the beds anymore because they're stacked full of things.
Yes. Or if things are stacked all the way to the ceiling. I mean, like there's certain, that's not.
If you have 57 cats, that might be a sign, yeah.
Don't throw out your garbage. I've seen lots of them where the garbage
or
never
the toilet
gets
breaks and you just are going in buckets or you're in the backyard
We've heard
somewhere.
those stories.
This guy just liked to look at wine bottles.
Yeah, he just had a collection of stolen wine.
Weird.
Only he could enjoy it, though. Can't show it off.
I got to be honest, that's not so bad. If I had a collection of Oktoberfest beers right now, Shaw, and I was the only one who could enjoy it, that wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah, but you would open them and drink them.
Yeah, because I'm not that idiot.
Right.
I would contemplate for a few moments, which one am I going to drink first?
I'm thirsty.
Yes. Bad news, happy music. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Five Finger Death Punch now. It's The Bleeding.
Rock mornings, Monday to Friday, 6 to 9. Call.
Hello.
Email.
I tried emailing you.
Text. So many ways to check in with us.
Check.
We rely on you guys for traffic updates, requests, and all sorts of other stuff.
Check this out.
Rockmornings.com is our website. If you want to find our contact info, I got a text from my friend Vicky. Said, great dentist story for you. Last time I went, the dentist guy was shorter, looked kind of like Geraldo Rivera. He kept looking over in my mouth and pressing his manhood onto my shoulder. Couldn't stop laughing that he couldn't get his job done. They had to get a different dentist.
He was too short to dentistry? Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't know what's going. There's a lot going on there. I don't know if it's the height, the Geraldo, or the wiener.
Did she come out of her dentistry with her shirt unbuttoned or misbuttoned, or?
I don't think Vicky went under.
She didn't fall asleep?
I don't think so.
No robot dentistry. That's what we were talking about. AI dentistry. You want a root canal done by a robot?
No, I don't. We're also obviously.
I also don't know if I want it done by that guy.
The Geraldo guy?
Yeah.
Also talking quite a bit about the Olympics. Cole Hocker, the 1,500 meter, come from behind win. Got a message on Facebook from Greg, said, I watched the races last night. It was amazing. We whooped the Kenyans and everybody else. Jason texted in, said, real genius. That was the movie the quote was from earlier with your Killing Me Shaws.
And Shaw got it correct.
Yep. And Zach won the money. Congratulations, Zach. Cheryl texted in, Newman. Wayne Knight's birthday today. Cheryl also delivers the mail, a rural carrier. Uses a hearse, or used a hearse, I should say, to deliver mail. Justin texted in. We were talking about birthdays. Obviously, David Duchovny of the X-Files.
And he said Californication was a great series.
Said it's wild. You'd love it.
Well, there you go.
Also talking about Carson, who texted in asking for some advice. Said, do you have any advice for someone that keeps calling my phone with different numbers after I block her? Ex-girlfriend, it sounds like.
We did have some advice.
And I said, well, number one, don't answer the phone. That's a given for anybody.
I don't think he's doing
He
that.
said he never has, but she's made phone calls with over 42 different numbers. So she just walks up to people on the street and says, hey, can I use your phone for a second?
I don't know how he knows that. Well, I guess if the end result is her voice on the other end of the line. He knows, but how does he know?
I recommended, number one, don't answer the phone. Number two, keep a record of everything that's going on. Phone calls, text messages, emails, those kind of things. Put it in a binder. Get in touch with a lawyer. Get in touch with the cops.
That's what Shaw suggested.
Yeah. And I also recommended...
move across the country.
Yeah, packing up your Buick LeSabre and moving from New Hampshire to Wisconsin.
Relocating.
He said his Mazda was already packed, but thanks for the advice.
Yeah, see, he's
I
on
also,
the relocation program.
I also recommended, as a person who has experienced this ordeal myself, I said, don't get drunk and sleep with her. He said, I already made that mistake 2 months after we broke up. She's been calling nonstop. Should have texted you guys sooner.
Yeah, you should have. Yeah, that's what happened.
You know, honestly...
You made the mistake and then it went...
What is the phrase? Steel gets sharpened by iron or something like that, right? Mistakes. It's something about it's. Look, you learn a lot more by making mistakes in life, and sometimes you got to make those mistakes. And you're learning, Carson. You're learning not to do that again. Hopefully.
You couldn't stream us though if you move.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again until I'm dead and in the grave. Those crazy ones, they bang really well, so I get it. It's the siren song of the mermaid,
yeah,
right?
But you can't. But you don't.
You know you're going to get killed down there in the ocean, but you got to go because it sounds so damn good. She's texting you, telling you all those dirty, nasty things she wants to do to you. You remember all the crazy, wild times you had. But then afterwards, yeah, the switch goes off. And it's like, oh, now I remember why I wasn't doing this. Yeah. Selective hearing Stu, also earlier used his detective skills to determine that Shaw is a lefty without saying he's a lefty. Mm-hmm. Because instead of saying attempted assassination he said injured by a shooter.
Yeah. Which he was.
And then we got a text from someone who said STU can STF you.
Oh, no, I don't think he should do that.
We got texter on texter crime going on here. Connor wanted to let you know, he texted in as well, said that the Umbrella Academy does start tomorrow on Netflix. Final season, right?
It's the final season, season 4, but it's
all
been
I
so
remember
long.
about the last season is the one guy kept going back and forth in time, and he was at a VA, and he was in love with some guy, and it was like his army buddy, and I don't remember anything else from that season. That's the only thing I remember. Like that, because he was in that stupid VA forever, and he wouldn't get out. And it's like, what are we doing?
Yes, he's a time traveler.
I understand, right? But
stuff that happened. Now I don't know if I remember exactly.
There's the
where
big guy. I know there's a big guy, and there's the one guy that goes through.
He went to space.
And there's a little guy in the there's a kitchen, and there's a kid with a tail,
gorilla,
or a monkey, or something, and they're all wearing suits.
Okay.
And there's a meme with them looking at each other in the car. It's
dead brother. It talks to the only other brother can.
Again, the one guy in the VA or like the was it the VA
back,
or was it
jumps back in time?
Was it an Eagles club? What the hell was it?
I don't know what exactly the scene you're talking about, but
was it at a Legion, like a Legion pub? I don't know. He was in like a bar, and it was like a bunch of veterans and stuff, and they were mad because he was in there, but then he had to like prove that he was a veteran or something like that. He had to beat people up.
Yeah, I don't know if you're tuning in tomorrow night. You're way.
I got to go back and re-binge because I don't remember.
See?
That's why I got to do it because my brain can't. I have too much stuff up there. Thank you very much for all the correspondence this morning. Good to hear from you. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow.